Good morning, good afternoon, everyone. I'm Ahmed Mahmoud, and in this series, I'm going to explore one of the most important breakthroughs in modern AI architecture, the Model Context Protocol. We are entering a new era of AI, an era where models that don't just generate text but interact with the systems that run our organizations. But there is a challenge. Every enterprise system speaks a different language, and every AI tool has its own interface. Every integration is bespoke, fragile, and expensive to maintain. This fragmentation is the single biggest barrier stopping companies from deploying AI at scale. That's why the industry created MCP, a simple open universal protocol that standardizes how AI connects to tools, data, and applications. In this overview, we are going to break down the problem MCP solves, the architecture that makes it work, the core building blocks, tools, resources, and prompts, and the real-world use cases that are driving explosive adaptation. By the end, you will understand why MCP is becoming the default integration layer for AI and why every organization will rely on it in the coming years. Let us get started. I want to talk about something that is fundamentally reshaping how we think about AI inside the enterprise. Right now, most organizations are treating large language models as if they are magic boxes. You ask a question, and somehow, almost miraculously, an answer appears. It feels powerful, it feels transformative. And in many ways, it is, truly it is. But here is the critical issue that very few organizations haven't fully realized. This approach is incredibly limited. Why? Because a standalone LLM, no matter how advanced, no matter how many billions of parameters it has, it is completely blind. It operates in total isolation from your business reality. Think about that for a moment. Your most capable AI system cannot see your data. It cannot access your systems. It has no awareness of your HR records, your financial tables, your code base, your customer history, your documents, or your policies. It knows nothing about your processes, nothing about your constraints, nothing about the context that actually matters. And that is a fundamental challenge we have to solve. Because until AI can safely and reliably interact with the systems that run the organizations, its potentially will always be capped and blind. Let me be very specific about what I mean by blind. A standalone LLM cannot see your database where all your critical business data lives. It cannot access your financial tables with revenue projections, cost structures, or profitability metrics. It has zero visibility into your HR systems with employee records, performance data, or organizational charts. Your files and policy documents invisible. Your standard operating procedure, compliance requirement, governance frameworks, the LLM knows nothing about them. Your API that connect to external services, not accessible. Your enterprise systems, your ERP, your CRM, your supply chain management tools, completely out of reach. The LLM might be intellectually brilliant. It might understand languages, reasoning, and complex concepts, but it is operating in a dark, completely disconnected from operational systems that actually run your business. And that disconnect makes it far less valuable than it could be. So the industry recognizes this problem, and we came up with what seemed like an elegant solution: tools. We gave LLM the ability to call APIs, to perform web searches, to query databases, and to read files. And honestly, this was a genuine breakthrough moment. Suddenly, LLM were not just answering questions based on their training data, they could actually interact with the real world. They could fetch current information, they could access actual data, They could perform real actions, but here what we quickly discovered in practice, every single interaction was custom built. If you wanted your LLM to access your CRM, you had to write bespoke code. If you wanted it to query your database, more custom code. Every tool required its own unique implementation. This made everything fragile. Changes to your system meant rewriting. Integrations, it introduces security risks because was not standard security model, and most critically, it was impossible to scale. What worked in one framework wouldn't work in another. What worked for one company was useless to the next. And this is where things became really problematic at the enterprise level. Every company built their tools completely differently. Company A had their own format and conventions. Company B had their own as well, and so on and so forth. And they were entirely incompatible. You couldn't share, you couldn't reuse, you couldn't standardize. At the same time, every AI framework, whether it is LangChain, semantic kernel, AutoGen, or any other framework, had its own plugin architecture. What worked beautifully in one framework was completely useless in another. You would have to rebuild the same integration over and over again for different frameworks. The result, we ended up with duplicated connectors being built repeatedly for the same systems across different companies and different frameworks. We had security holes appearing constantly because every implementation handled security differently or didn't handle it at all. And governance was completely inconsistent because there was no standard way to manage permission, access control, or audit trails. Scaling AI across an enterprise had become quite frankly, a nightmare. The very thing that was supposed to make our organization more efficient was becoming a source of technical debt and operational complexity. This is where Model Context Protocol, or MCP, fundamentally changed the game. Instead of having your LLM connect directly to every tool and system with custom code, MCP introduces a universal protocol layer. Think of it as a standardized interface that sits between your LLM and all your enterprise system. The architecture is beautifully simple. LLM connects to MCP, MCP connects to MCP servers, MCP servers connect to your actual tools and systems. It is a clean, layered architecture that solves all those scaling problems we just spoke about. Here's what makes this so powerful. The LLM no longer needs to know how to talk to your specific database or a specific CRM. It just needs to know how to talk to MCP. And the MCP servers, which expose your database, your CRM, your analytic platform, your documents, all speak this same standardized protocol. This means you built an MCP server once and it works with any LLM that support MCP. It works with any framework. It works across your entire organization. You are no longer writing custom integration for every single combination of LLM, framework, and data source. Instead of having hundreds of custom fragile connections, you have a standardized, maintainable architecture. This is the difference between chaos and order and the enterprise level. So let us bring this all together and see the complete picture of what MCP enables. With MCP, your LLM integrates with MCP servers. Each server can expose different parts of your enterprise, databases with all your operational data, HR systems with comprehensive employee information, finance data with revenue, cost, and profitability metrics, policy documents, and standard operating procedures, clinical system if you are in healthcare, and the APIs that connect to external services and integrations. The critical insight here is that all of this happens through one consistent interface. You are not writing different code for different systems. You are not maintaining dozens of custom integration. You are not dealing with incompatible format and conventions. This gives you three transformative capabilities. First, a standard interface means one way to connect all systems. Every developer on your team learns one protocol and one set of convention. New systems can be added quickly because you are following the same pattern every time. Second, you build each MCP server once and use it everywhere. Your investment in integration work pays dividend across your entire organization, across multiple projects and different teams. And third, you can scale securely because you have a unified security and governance model. Permission, access control, audit trails all handled consistently across every single integration. This is not just a technical improvement. This is the architectural foundation that makes AI truly ready for enterprise deployment. MCP isn't just about making AI work, it is about making AI work at scale, securely and sustainably across your entire organization. The question isn't whether you need this kind of standardization. The question is whether you'll adopt it proactively or whether you'll spend the next few years building custom integration that will eventually need to be replaced. MCP is that foundation and it is available now. Thank you. I'm happy to tackle questions now.